Good morning and welcome to another segment of My Tea for the Week. It's your girl Valerie Locust, and today we'll be discussing pit stops. Oh yeah, girl, they're all over the place, but it's okay. So go ahead and grab your tea and... Oh, you already got your tea? Girl, you already at the table? Lord, honey, I'm behind schedule. Come on, let's get this thing started. So ladies, listen, I think we can all relate to this. Have you ever been on a long trip and there is always that one person in the car that had to make frequent bathroom breaks? I'm just going to put it out there, y'all. It was me. Listen, some years ago when all my kids were at home, we were on a trip going south. I had taken a blood pressure pill. Now, my blood pressure pill had a diuretic in it. And I was so used to taking the medications the same time every day, every morning, right? Not thinking that we were going to be on this 12-hour trip, I took the blood pressure pill. And so within an hour and a half, 2 hours, I had to make the first stop to go to the restroom. Needless to say that every 45, 55 minutes, I was pulling off, going to the restroom. And it had gotten so bad to my oldest son, Robert. He said, "Mama, we ain't gonna never get there." Now, I could have made the decision to just drive that thing straight through. Now, how many of y'all know if I had did that, by the time I got to Mississippi, girl, we all would have been wading in the water. So, although it seemed to be an inconvenience to everybody else in the car, I knew that I had to do that. All right? Or how about this? Let's talk about this. What about the man who drives in the Indy 500 races? Now, at the beginning of that race, he's revving that engine. He's ready to go. And the official drops the flag to go. And off to the races he go. But then after he's driven so far, you got somebody out there, stop, come in. For what? The pit stop. Now, you would say, why in the world, if he's already in full motion, going around these tracks, bending and going on, why would somebody have to stop him if it looks like everything is okay with him? I'll tell you why. Because the pit stop, although he won't be there but for a very short time, they're checking the fuel. They're checking to see if there's any mechanical failures. They're making sure that everything is going all right with the tires. They're doing all of this in matters of minutes. And what are they doing that for? To make sure that when he gets to that finish line, he'll get there prayerfully being the winner and getting there whole. Everything's car, everything him, and everything associated with him is intact. So the pit stop is very necessary. Although it can appear that it's taking us off of our journeys. So ladies, a pit stop is simply a brief rest. And we usually take pit stops when we're either traveling or when we're on a long journey. They're never meant to last a long time, but we still may have to make a lot of them before we get to either our goals or our destinations. Girl, and how many of us can truthfully sit up here and say that it don't bother us when we're on the road and we're driving trying to get to our destination and somebody else in the car got to make a pit stop? Honey, listen, girl, I've been on both sides of the coin, okay? And when I'm driving, that's a total different beast than when I'm sitting over there riding and need to make a pit stop. Because see, when I'm driving, I don't want to stop either. But I know I have to do that every now and then. So let's talk about some of the issues we find ourselves in when it comes to a pit stop. Number one, girl, the main thing a pit stop does, it shows up at a time that's unexpected. That's right, honey. It interrupts your flow of whatever you were doing before you had to make that call. Number two, they are not meant to stay a long time. When you go to a pit stop, girl, you getting in there. Just think about that restroom break. You getting in there and you getting out of there. So you can do what? Get back on your road to your destination. And number three, sometimes when we're in our pit stops, it might require us to take advice from, or wise counsel, wise counsel from other people that might be in that pit stop with you. Remember when we were talking about the driver, it ain't no one man doing all of that stuff, girl. No, honey. You got several people all doing something at the same time. It's called teamwork. So don't forget that pit stop, when you're in there, it might be other persons in there with you, but take the wise counsel. They're just trying to help you get to your destination, girl. So, Miss Valerie, what can I do that's going to keep me from being so frustrated when I got to make these pit stops? Girl, listen, I'm so glad you asked me that, because I think I have something that just might help you as I'm trying to let it help me as well, okay? Number one, let's just realize that we are going to have to make frequent stops. Already put it up there in your mind. It's called like a mental health day. There's just some days you just got to put something mentally up there and just keep that thing there for when you need it, of course. So if we can just do that, come up with the conclusion that as we travel along life's way, or towards our destination, or towards our goals, we are just going to simply every now and then have to pull off the road, take a self-evaluation to make sure we're going in the right direction, and that we're not wasting precious time doing stuff that we don't need to do to get us there. So see, you're going to have to turn that thing around, okay? Number two, when you go to the pit stop, go in there with the understanding that you're not going to stay there, girl, for a long time. You're just going to get in there. You're going to get what you need while you're in there. You're going to make the right adjustments while you're in there. And then you're going to get right back on that road. And third, make sure that there is always somebody that you can talk to, honey, that you can trust with your innermost issues. And realize that you ain't going to never hear that stuff again, girl. You need that when you're going to these pit stops, okay? Because some days, honey, I'm telling you, honey, life can sure enough throw you a curve. So remember that. It's all about getting to that destination. So ladies, as we come to the close of another segment, let's just review a few things so that we can continue to stay on this road called life. Number one, let's all agree that pit stops are necessary and that they are not a waste of time, but they will help us self-evaluate and keep us going in the right direction that we should be going on to meet our goals. Number two, remember, they are not for us to be at for a long period of time. We want to get in there, we want to make the right adjustments, and we want to get back on that road as soon as we can. And number three, remember, we all need someone that we can talk to and that we can trust when life gets rough and the rough gets tough and the tough gets going. And girl, never have to worry about ever hearing those things again. So I challenge each and every last one of you to put into practice, ladies, some of the things that we have talked about here today. And before you know it, you'll be on your road to your destination. Again, I'm your girl, Valerie Locust, and thank you so much for tuning in for this segment of my tea for the week.